Wow, can you believe it? We're already almost halfway through 2023, and yet we have some hopeful, stellar banger games on the horizon. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to my first thoughts, opinions, and impressions video of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Now, this one hopefully is dropping out in 2023, and man, I am very excited to see another installment of Armored Core, as I played it all the way back in the days of the PlayStation 1, learning what the hell an EMP was and railguns and about armor-piercing rounds and cannons and whatnot from playing that game. It certainly played more different than any other game I played up to that date. And since then, well, the mech genre has been alive and kicking strong. And I really hope that this game doesn't just light a fire under all these games, but an inferno, getting everybody interested again in mech games, as they always have been, honestly. Games like Into the Breach, Battletech, Phantom Brigade, and of course Mech Warrior, and many others have been around showcasing mechs of different types of classes and different stories. But with this being developed by From Software, the makers of a small game, I don't know if you heard of it, Dark Souls, or maybe an even more indie title that got a little bit of attention over the last year or so, Elden Ring. Yeah, this game looks dark and gritty and kind of reminds me of that futuristic flash forward scene from like Terminator 2 with all the Terminators fighting the humans. Well, everything seems to be dusty and covered in oil and soot, and everything seems to be forged from fire and iron, and it's just awesome. Really looks good and exactly what I was hoping for, which I didn't know I was hoping for. But damn, the design of these mechs and these worlds really pair together nicely. And with it also being published by Bandai Namco, who's also published games like Ace Combat, and of course with From Software and Elden Ring, like I mentioned, making massive bosses in the past, I really hope that we get some incredibly large bosses that are really just fighting a titan or a colossus, and I think that's exactly what we're going to get from this developer. From Software has just been making absolute bangers with the Dark Souls series and then into Elden Ring, and it's a pleasure to see them return to Armored Core and not forget what really made them stand out back in the day. And hopefully this forges the way forward for more games such as Armored Core 6 and 7 and 8. I mean, I really hope that this is something that goes well and beyond to what we could hope for, and that we get a lot of different classes. The gameplay that we're about to see really confirms a lot of what I loved about the game in the past, with being able to make your own custom mechs that had like spider legs, or that were bipedal tanks, or even that had treads or multiple treads too. And I was a big fan of the combat of Metal Gear, back in Metal Gear 4 when you could fight Metal Gear Rex versus Metal Gear Ray. And I loved what Metal Gear did with the whole mech genre of the Shagohod in 3, and I just loved all those vehicles, and how all the story revolved around how powerful those vehicles could be, and those were just one. Well, now we get a lot more than that, and we get different worlds and things made of different iron. Like, it's not just necessarily Earth. It does seem like we'll be going to many other locations, and I'm not too keen on the story of Armored Core. Obviously, I hadn't played the last one, which came out, I think, well before around the times of the original Dark Souls being made, but it's got my interest, and there's nothing more that I want to see than developers making different planets and different worlds and creating economies and governments around those types of things to really show you motivation between why these armies or these mercenaries or these different forces are fighting. And it looks great. The gameplay certainly makes it feel like you're the small kid from Shadow of the Colossus, yet also that you've got a lot of power. And it seems like fast is not fast enough, with some of the scout classes seeming to move quickly and, of course, be like a glass cannon, and simulates a lot of what I enjoyed about games like, for example, the previous installment of Phantom Brigade, which I thought was fantastic. And I really like how that's done, taking what is important in today's military with light, fast strike units for mechanized or motorized units, moving fast and hitting hard, or having massive mechs, which could do a lot of damage and possibly be able to hold their ground and fire lots and lots of missiles, but be slow and more than likely be balanced by having overheating or something like that. But great to see all these potential bosses of different flying types, and like caterpillars and snakes and other things like that. It's going to be really cool to see what they come up with, and I just want to explore the world and see a bunch of stuff explode. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to beat that, right? Turn your brain off and just have a lot of fun having things blow up and explode and everything. But if it plays like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, where we get somewhat of an open world to experience, or if we're going to multiple planets, kind of an open world-ish area, like an open level area. That would be absolutely fantastic, and I've got high hopes for it, for sure. And I think a lot of people do too. And again, going back to what I said, the mech genre certainly is alive and kicking, but I hope a game like this really makes more people check out other games that they may have missed in the past. And I hope this opens the door for bangers from the past, and the wide open kicks the door open for games in the future from developers who haven't even thought about what game they might make next. Honestly, in 2023, I think it's absolutely impossible for a developer not to make a game not being inspired by their other games or other game makers or other publishers and other genres, and try to bring those in to where we get RPG elements and where we get customization beyond belief, and that we get more content for this. And hopefully, just like with Elden Ring, we eventually see DLCs and updates and new characters and new things to explore and to destroy. And I just got high hopes for it. And yeah, I'm often on the hype train, and hype, I think, is always higher than you got your expectation, you got your hype, and then you got your reality. Of course, your expectations are somewhere around the middle, I think. Your hype is, of course, what could possibly happen with a game like this. But reality, I think we're at least going to get a solid game that runs, man, I hope, I gotta say, I hope it runs 60 frames per second. That it needs to be a requirement in 2023, but smooth 60 frame per second gameplay that looks great. As for multiplayer, I don't know. I would certainly be awesome and excited to see multiplayer combat, 2v2s or whatnot with customization. But it could also just be a quick, little throwaway to almost feel like a battle arena or a training arena. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, though. What did you think about Elden Ring and Dark Souls, and will that contribute a lot to this game? Other games like Ace Combat, do you think with From Software working with the same publisher, with Bandai Namco as the developers of Ace Combat did, will they share a lot of the great music and cutscenes? They seem to have a lot of the same style, and I hope that's what we see. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. If this is one that interests you, or maybe you'll pass on it, or if you've got your eye on it and want to see where things go, or if you're a big fan of other previous games that are turn-based strategy like Into the Breach, or real-time strategy like Phantom Brigade, and or other games like BattleTech. Let me know which ones that were your favorites. I'd like to hear from you. Thanks for watching. That's about it for now. Let's watch some trailers, and I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
handler Walter verified. Activating cerebral coral control device. Augmented human C4621 has awakened.
One of the infamous handler Walter's hounds. Interesting. You ready to climb the wall?
Call sign Raven. Priority subject for termination. High on the list.
A coral response from the generator. Watch out!
Why hide behind another's call sign?
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.